Hey, good morning, and welcome to the Big Show, hosted by me, Jimmy Smith. Alongside of me, as always, good friend of mine. Give it a one time for Dwayne Ward.
What's up?
What's up, dude? Good morning to you. How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there. We were talking a little bit earlier. I went to the graduation pool party for a friend of ours that she got her PhD. So she's a official doctor now. But she likes to be very specific and say in nursing. So she's not a doctor. She's a nursing doctor who the nurses do all the real work anyway. But yeah, so we had that. So we went to a nice pool party, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, I can't get in the pool because I burn easily. And short 3 minutes later, I'm in the pool doing stupid stuff and all that. But I got to hang out. One of my friends, they have a small child, little 6-month-old Porter, and got to do surrogate, I guess, but almost not grandpa, but like weird uncle time. That came out wrong, but fun time where hey, I love kids, and then he pooped, and I went, oh hey, here we go, which was wonderful. That's the best. Exactly. It's like, here you go. It was a messy one too. So yeah, no, it was a fun time. Had got a lot of good sun. I also mentioned early this week, wife and I were honored. Actually, I want to give more credit to Brandy than myself. But
what did she do? What did she do?
She is the Rotarian of the Year. She and I are both members of the Rotary, which was a group that was started back in the 20s or 40s to stop the polio pandemic. Back in the day, and they distribute stuff all over the world, and we do lots of service projects in the community and all that. But she had put through 21 projects last year, pretty much by herself. Well, by herself. Me, I do the technical stuff, but no, she did 99.9% of the work and did a great job, and they honored her, and they actually gave me a nice award as well for being the nerd that I am. So we're Rotarian award people. So
well, congratulations, man. And Brandy, congratulations to you. By the way, where's Brandy been? I don't think she's been on the podcast the last couple of weeks, has she?
She's always she watches, but I pay her off not to comment, because you'll say stuff like, hey, or I'll say something like, hey, I'm getting healthy, I'm gonna do this, and she's like, yeah, he pays me a lot, I'm not gonna comment that he's full of crap, or I'll make some comment and she'll want to comment in there that I'm an idiot or something like that, but she refrains. So that's it's good wife there. Supports her husband. So but no, she's always watching.
I'm on my phone today, and the reason why I'm on my phone right now is because I'm trying to get our guest speaker here in the StreamYard. He's having a hard time. For those of you who have been watching for a few weeks, you might know or recognize our guest speaker today, Rich Massa. He's one of the best personal trainers in the entire state of Florida. Good friend of mine, and we brought him on the show, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Had a great time. I got a lot of great feedback about him, and even had a couple people reach out to me via email and IG and asked to work with Richie. And so
cool.
I wanted to bring him back on today because him and I were talking this week, and he is kind of going through it a little bit with his ex. And of course, Dad talked today. We all know a lot about that stuff. So I was, being a friend, listening to him, he was venting. And Richie's a very, I envy Richie a lot for this, because when things take him off center, he doesn't really get too flustered and pissed off that much.
Right.
He's one of my friends that can really kind of like even keel temper, very diplomatic, things like that. But this guy was twisted this week. I mean, his ex really twisted him up. And I think we all listening here, we all have been in that situation where the ex can really push your buttons, because let's face it, you've probably spent a lot of time with your ex, and that woman knows all the red buttons to push.
Oh yeah.
And the big red button that says do not push, that woman will freaking tap that on it and just push that shit. And that's what he's been going through. So I said to him, well, look, here's some ideas for the show this week. Why don't we do a show about how to go to war with your ex, like how to handle this stuff? Right. And I said, I invited him to come onto the show, and I said, share your story if you want. A lot of guys out there are going through, the thick of it, just like you are. So he agreed. And so we put together the show, and I asked him to be on, about 20 minutes early, because usually you and I will get ready. We'll get the show kind of going, make sure audio and video is working, so that way we don't have technical difficulties. Well, how ironic as it is, he's not on the show right now. Why? Because his ex calls him at the 12th hour and says, I'm not dropping our daughter off to you like she always does.
Always does, right?
You need to come pick her up. And so he's like really just twisted up. He's in the car calling me going, dude, I'm not going to be able to show up 20 minutes before the show. I'm going to show up as quick as I can, but here's what's going on. So how ironic that, Rich is kind of going through this. And the reason why he's not on right now is because of that very thing. But I
don't know if anyone on this show would be able to empathize with that at all. I really don't think anyone here has ever dealt with an ex that's played games and acted like a moron or petty or
so Richie he just texted me right when we started the intro, and he says he's ready to jump onto the show, but the link that I sent him is not working. Do you happen to have the link that you can send him?
I can send that over to him. Why don't you put it in the private chat, his email or something?
I can say it in front of everybody, because if anyone wants to get a hold of him for personal training or whatever, you guys can reach him. It's Coach Rich Massa at Gmail.
Let me open that up real quick, and I will send it.
So if anybody out there, by the way, I'll give Richie a little shameless plug. If anybody out there is looking for nutrition advice, a food plan, a workout plan, or virtual personal training, if you don't live in the Orlando, Florida area, email Richie at coachrichmassa@gmail.com. It's RICHMASSA, Rich Massa.
Okay, at Massa at what?
At Gmail.
At gmail.com. All right. Whoops.
So here he is. He's trying to get on now.
All right. It just got sent to you. It's going to be from my email address. So you should get that here shortly and be able to jump in here.
Listening. Dwayne just emailed you. Check.
Oh, here. Okay. I think we just got our first comment here that one of those. It just came back to me. Hold on. Let's see here. Address not found. Okay. Hold up. All right. Coach COACH Rich RICHMASSA at gmail.com.
That's it.
All right, let's try it one more time. Could have swore of course I may have fat fingered it. It's always possible. But we got our
Rich Massa at gmail.com. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we got our first comment here. I'm a little surprised if this ever happens. So you're wrong. My ex trying to get 2,000 support from me every month. Jeff, you're the rare exception. That never happens. Usually in a divorce or breakup scenario, the woman is thinking 100% logically, and she just wants to do equal share custody. She probably wants to give you primary, and child support is never on their minds at all.
Never.
And if you can't figure out
you poor guy, you're like 1 in a million chance here.
Yeah. And if you haven't figured that out, we're joking. We're being completely sarcastic. Yeah, they love the child support.
Oh, hey, who just joined
here we are.
All right,
here we are.
I'm here, gentlemen.
Rich is on bottom.
Nobody can stop me.
I'm gonna change the speaker overlay to 3. Hold on. There we go. 3 speaker overlay. And
I really love that logo.
You like the logo?
I love the logo.
Got the logo.
I don't think your bicep's that big, but
well, it's one of those caricatures,
Listen, my Italian blood is boiling today. So I hope
man. I don't know if you were listening to the show, but when we were just talking about you, and I was telling everybody, Rich, and for those of you guys who don't know, a good friend of mine, we've been friends for about 20 plus years, Rich Massa. He's one of the best personal trainers in the entire state of Florida, certainly in the Orlando market. He helps people better their health and wellness through diet and exercise. If any of you guys are looking for a personal trainer, even if you don't want necessarily to be in person with them, Rich can do virtual personal training. So we've already given you guys his email address. It's coachrichmassa@gmail.com. This is Richie. And what I was saying, Rich, is I was telling everyone that you're one of my few friends that seem to always have a good even keel when it comes to your temperament, even when through times of chaos and trial and stuff. And you and I were talking, I don't know, a few days ago, and man, you were spun up. And your ex, I haven't mentioned her name because I don't know if you even want to say her name, but your ex was, kind of just putting you through it, man. And I tell you,
keep my ex's name out your mouth.
Yeah. So, you've really been going through it with her, for years now. And you guys have a daughter, and and you guys have already solidified the custody and what it should look like. And
I'm sorry, I got to laugh there. You never solidify anything, and I think
fair enough.
Rich
fair
will
enough.
now be able to.
Real quick, Dwayne, we're gonna go. Me and Jim. I don't know if Jim told you. We devised a plan where it took years. It took a lot of
you told us about that.
I have the leverage in this.
Right. Yep.
It's very rare that you're going to hear this case. I know I'm the exception to the rule, but if it wasn't for this man here, up there, I could not have done that by myself.
You know, Rich,
I have the leverage.
If you want,
our plan's going to hurt her more than hurting me.
Yeah.
And I'm not here for myself today, guys. I'm here for the gentleman of the dad talk today, and I wanted to share my story because I know a lot of guys, when they go through it, they kind of get depressed. And I said, you know what? I gotta kind of tell my story because I'm willing to go to World War III. And sometimes guys need to hear that. They need to hear, like, I'm willing, I'm willing to go to war with you.
Yeah.
So I just got back telling her we're following to the letter of our plan. We're not veering off. No more leeway. So Jim, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is the I'm going to teach you how to be the exception to the rule.
Yeah. And what I was saying is that, the story, everyone that's listening on YouTube and Facebook, first of all, welcome to the show. If you guys have comments or questions, put them in the chat. Dwayne and I will get to them and read them. But what I was going to say is years ago, Richie was in a really, really bad situation where he wasn't sure if he was ever going to be able to see his daughter. Oh, yeah. His daughter didn't know that he even existed. This was obviously before she was born, but wasn't going to take his last name. He wasn't going to be on the birth certificate, and Richie really had no leverage. It's a very interesting story, and whenever Richie feels comfortable telling that story one day, we're going to do an entire podcast on the story because that's how interesting it is.
Fine, if we want to give a snapshot, we don't have to go into deep detail. It's your show.
Yeah. So what Richie and I basically did was we put together we formulated a game plan to go from 0 to 100 and get Richie back into the driver's seat of this relationship and this leverage. And that's exactly what we did. And I tell you, we kind of tap dance around, we kind of tap dance on the line of what's the right thing to do and what's the smartest thing to do, meaning that sometimes we do and say things that are not exactly going to follow the moral compass that we kind of want to follow, but the ends justify the means. Right. And, we had him do a few things that kind of, I don't know, morally probably shouldn't have done that.
Morally
kind of
flexible.
Yeah. Manipulation, I mean, honestly, we use the same effing game that women use on us. We used against him in short. Right. And it worked. And now he has 50-50 custody of his daughter. And even despite that, even though the courts, agree that this is what's going to be, Richie has been very flexible on allowing his ex to veer outside of the guidelines of this 50-50.
Jim, you keep going. I'll be right back.
All right, thanks. Thanks for the instruction, buddy.
I was going to say, because since he was like kneeling down so far, he may have been talking to his kid.
Yeah, it was.
Given his stature, he may have been talking to a full-grown adult.
I mean, Richie is basically a tall midget, so I figure that maybe he was talking to one of his colleagues or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, when you said that you got in the driver's seat, I wanted to ask you, was that on the short bus?
Well, for him, it's the booster seat.
Oh.
So, but see, I get into the driver's seat. Richie gets into the booster seat.
Right.
So, but
you guys are hilarious.
Oh, look who's back.
He's back. How can you tell?
Hey, we were just talking about you, bro.
You were just talking about me?
Yeah,
every bus I go
on,
man. Is a short bus. Every bus.
All good things. Hey, Richie, is there any way that you can turn the mic up for you? I can hear you, but it'd be better if you could turn the mic up if it's possible.
See if I get.
And thanks for shaving for the show. We appreciate that. I mean, I can see my show's really important to you.
I'm rocking the 5 o'clock lately.
Yeah. And it's a little better. So anyways, man, so today's show is basically on how to go to war with your ex. And what I put together, I guess, for everybody is, some tips and advice on how to navigate, dealing with a really, really challenging relationship with your ex. And, I put together some stuff that I have helped people with over the years, given advice to, things like that. The reality is that some of the best advice in the world I could give everybody here, and some of it's just not going to work because, you cannot negotiate with terrorists, right? And sometimes all the best tactics, all the best advice. Hell, sometimes there's people on this show that I'm sure have actually went to a therapist with their ex, and the people who do it for a living couldn't get through, So anyways, Rich, I kind of set it up, so everyone here knows that in the beginning you had no leverage at all, and we formulated a plan. We haven't talked about the plan, but we'll talk about that another time because that's honestly long enough to be an entire podcast.
Okay.
But basically, what I understand of your situation now is that you have is she 6 now? 5? 5. Okay. So she's 5 now, and you have one child, and it's with your ex. You guys have never been married. No. You and your ex. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to necessarily go through some of the BS that some of the guys here on this show have had to go through with custodial interference, excess brain damage. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you still understand how it is to deal with someone who's, just a really big pain in your rear end. But now you have 50-50 custody. It's ordered by the court to where, it's not just an agreement verbally. It's in paper, right? It's in writing. Yeah. The court has agreed to it. But even then, you still, and I know this to be true, have been picking up your daughter different times, getting her for different times, helping out your ex as much as you possibly can. And I'm not saying this because I'm a good friend of yours. You are honestly one of the most fair guys that I know. You're extremely fair, and you are very giving too. But it seems like no matter how much you give and how much you bend and flex, the ex still just wants to be, that person who just gets all up in her feels. And if she's having a good day with her mood, fine. If she's having a bad day with your mood, it's going to be all hell breaks loose. But why don't you share with everyone what's going on with you right now? And we'll give you a good 20, 25 minutes to go ahead and say this. Go ahead.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you guys for having me on the show. And I have nothing prepared. I'm just going to speak kind of from here. Let me give you a little bit of a snap. First, I want to say I do not hate. I'm not angry with her. Right. I accept her for who she is. I take full responsibility for the person I chose to date at that time, and I'm facing the consequences of that. That's number one. Yeah. Number two is she is an amazing mom. She's just can I curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
A shitty co-parent. Okay?
Yeah.
She has single mom mindset. Now she's not fully over there, but she has elements of that. Right. So any guy that deals with an ex or that deals with that knows what I'm talking about. So I don't want to portray her in a bad light that she's a bad mom, but she does try to bear the burden, and he can be a better dad, and
yeah,
all this. So I'm going to give you a snapshot of what happened. This started happening a few months ago, where I work a lot. I'm one of the busier trainers you're going to meet. Okay. I sometimes get to the gym 5 a.m. and I train, and I'll work until 5, 6 o'clock at night, either having meetings, blah, 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 blah. I'm busy. Well, busy comes stress. And I ask people when I'm starting to get stressed out or angry, I said, can you please, I need some space. Please don't bother me with this. And then, of course, you know how that works with women sometimes.
It's showtime.
Calmly. Now, I do also have a rule. So this happened about 3 months ago where, and I like to use their playbook against them. So what I mean is, I want to preface it with this. Gentlemen, when they're your ex, they are now, you have to almost view them as your enemy. They're not the woman that you loved. They love someone else. You ever notice when they love you, you got the biggest D in the world. You're the best guy in the world. And when they break up with you, you're the smallest D in the world, and you're the biggest cat in the world. Okay? Yeah. All right? So
that hurt. That hit hard and hurt.
It's okay. You don't take it. Listen, you can't even take your own feelings personal. I don't take it personal. Yeah. It is what it is. But this is what happened. I was getting my daughter ready. I am part of I heard you a Rotarian. Actually spoke at a couple of Rotaries.
Okay.
I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce and BNI. I was getting to my BNI meeting, and I was running late, and she's messaging me about something. So basically, she kept on messaging me, and I lost my cool, which Jim said it's rare I lose my cool. Even though I'm Italian, I'm pretty even keeled, and I said,
"You're
leave me." So when she got me to that red line, now the Italian still comes out. I said, "Don't ask me for nothing." That's it. I'm messaging her. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I told her this, and I said something out of anger. Now, this is the first time I have said something out of anger in 5 years. Because sometimes, listen, when your kid acts up, I don't know why women don't get this, but there's nothing like the dad voice. Nothing.
Yeah.
Once they see you, it's an inherent, and they just can't wrap their head around. Why don't you act like that with me? Because you're mom, I have dad voice.
Yeah.
So.
And we did a segment just last week on how moms can't be dads.
They cannot. I hate it when I see to all the moms acting like dads. I don't take credit for Mother's Day. I celebrate her mom, even though I don't like her. It's not about me. I celebrate her as her mother because she is a good mom and she takes great care of her. Okay. So for the first time in 5 years, I actually lost my cool. I said, "Don't ask me to discipline her when she gets upset. Try being a good mom, and maybe that'll work."
That's what that was.
Jim will tell you, I'll take the insults. I'll take all your little jabs.
Yeah.
But Jim, tell him what Rich Massa comments are like.
Oh, man, let me tell you something. This boy here, he's witty, man. And when he cuts, he'll cut you deep. He'll cut you deep.
I'll cut into your soul.
Into your soul.
That's why I don't comment on anything.
Slice your soul in half. Like you will be in the fetal position that night crying about what he said to you. like don't you have a flaw about you? And he will expose it and cut it.
Yes. That's why I kind of like, listen, I don't want to get it because I know nothing you're going to say is going to affect me. And what I'm going to say is going to really cut into you. So
your powers for good.
It doesn't benefit you if you hit on the weak. That's not a sign of strength. So finally I lost my cool. Now I preface it with this. This is what happened. Now she doesn't feel safe around me.
Oh God.
I'm telling you, every dude that's listening to this listen to this after this is gonna roll their eyes in the back of their head.
I'm scared.
But here's what you do. Gentlemen, this is how you go to war. I'm going to tell you how to go. Everybody, buckle your seats in, buckle up, because we're about to go for a ride. Okay, I'm not going to get me too'd by my baby mama. Okay?
Right. That's
not me. So I don't take it personal. I don't get angry. I come up with a plan. So, okay, you don't feel safe around me? When you drop her off, you stay 10. I'm going to have witnesses. So I would drop her, meet me over at the 7-Eleven. Hey, is she safe right now? Is she safe? I just want to make sure she's safe because she doesn't feel safer because I want witnesses. Because what she could do, see if you're smart, she could claim something. Now, I'm not saying this is an intention, but she could think of this later. She could say, "I didn't feel safe, and then this happened, and here's evidence of this." And we're on the back end of it, but believe all women bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I'd make it if she came to my work and drop off Cece, put her stuff over there. Hey, everybody, is she safe? And embarrass her. And it really got her. And I said, I can't be around you. So finally, after about a few weeks of doing that, it really got to her. Can we talk? Now we have to have a conversation, right? And we talked it out. And I said, can you understand that you put me in a bad position when you say that? I can't be around you. You say you don't feel safe because you can use that later or claim something. And I'm sorry, you put me in a threatened position. So
women certainly love to use their privilege when it's
well, you'd lose your job, you'd lose everything.
Yeah, I'm not playing that game. I've watched too many great men, and I'm not that. I'm him. I'm not that guy. Okay. Right. So finally, she said, "You're right," and she messaged this. "You're right. I take it back." So I Snapshot it, and I put it away. Okay. Now we can be around each other because now I have evidence. And we did this all through the plan. I would say emails, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And just by the way, guys, another thing I have in my back pocket is I have an LLC. And if she takes me to court again, I can get child support. All right? I can get child support because she technically makes more money than me. And so I have that little wild card in my back pocket. Okay? So fast forward, we're getting along. And sometimes we even flirt. Like, listen, every guy knows she was an ex, but Jim knows I'll smash her again.
That was that psychiatric sock we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But I got to keep it down because my daughter's watching a movie. I don't want her to hear her dad talking like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is what happened recently. It was Father's Day, and every dad who, if you're a dad, and Dwayne, you're a dad, right? Well, you're on dad.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say, what every guy wants for Father's Day. Jim, listen up. When you become a dad one day, every guy wants three things. They want their breakfast, they want their shitty gift, and be left alone for Father's Day. Leave me alone. I want to do what I want to do. I want to play the games I want to play. Give me my breakfast, my crappy gift, and let me play. Let me play. And
Can we swap out one of those?
Yeah.
What do you want to do, Wayne?
Well, I was thinking sex, silence, and
I can't have sex.
A shitty gift.
The acts. Okay, so
yeah.
Or okay, all right.
You can add that in too, but also then leave me alone. Silence.
Right. Yeah.
Leave me alone after that.
Right.
Okay? So it was Father's Day, and the day before. Now she was saying, I'm assuming it's officially her day, but you wanted the whole day. I go, no, I'd like to have her till lunch, and then I would like to go do some things I would like to do that day. And she was like, well, I'm just surprised you wouldn't let her your daughter celebrate you on Father's Day, which means she wants the day off, right?
Right. Yeah.
I spent the whole day with her Saturday. I took her to the movies. I made us French toast. We played games. I'd like to have Father's Day to myself and celebrate my father. My father's no longer with us. I would like to remember my father. Okay. Yeah. The next day, my daughter needs surgery. She needed ear tubes. She needs not nothing major, but also nothing minor.
Yeah.
So Jim will attest to this. My family, we're not good with directions. Okay? We're not good. Now, Jim would know. Jim known me for over 20 years. He would know to give me the exact address. He knows that. She's known me now 7 years. So
I'll put it to you this way. I literally sent him the link to get on the show, and I
got lost. All right.
He got lost. He was trying to navigate the World Wide Web and still got lost.
I got lost.
Yeah.
Right. So here's what happened. I messaged. So I go. She just gives me the name of the hospital. I researched. What any normal person would do. I Googled it, and it's the closest one to both of our places. So I assumed that's where it is.
Right.
They had no idea.
Fair assumption.
They had no idea.
Right.
So I got irritated, of course. So I told her, you gave me the wrong place. Where is the surgery? So she sent me the address. I go, okay, I'm on my way. Now I might miss her going into surgery. I go, listen, I'm a little irritated. This is exactly what I said. I am irritated right now because I might miss CC surgery. Right. So it's smart to give me space. Don't just give me space, leave me alone, and don't give me shit for missing the surgery at the beginning. Because you know
let me stop you right there. Okay. So you know how whenever Dwayne and I are talking and we're trying to give advice and stuff to the men and to the women, Dwayne and I have oftentimes said that when women are expressing what's wrong with them, they will never come out and just be very direct with it. They'll say, nothing's wrong. I'm perfectly fine. I can't believe you don't know what's wrong. Whatever. When men give direction on how they're feeling, it's very direct. Now, when you hear Richie say, hey, I want my space, whatever, sure, it might be direct. And for some women hearing it, they might even feel that it was a little brash or, it wasn't very kind. Fair point. But at least you always know what page you're on with men. And men want that same courtesy in return. We want to know what page you're on. We don't want to have to guess. So if a female is dating Richie and he says, hey, I'm already late. I'm mad. I'm not going to be able to see my daughter go into surgery. I'm a little irritated. It's probably best to just give me my space. Guess what she probably should do?
Oh, what she should do? Yeah, give her space or give him space.
Some freaking space.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that plug in there just because it's a perfect example of how communication works between men and women, and why so many men get frustrated with women about not being direct, because we are, for the most part, in mass, very direct with our women to let them know what we're thinking. Richie?
Yeah, we communicate to provide information, whereas women express emotion. Yeah, I mean that's normal for us. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's exactly how I said it too. Luckily I got there, but this is the response I get. Now I also expect when you say that, they take it as an attack on them.
Right.
Now, here's how the response I got. If you communicate, it's worse. And listen, I'm Italian. If anybody knows the stereotype of Italians, this is okay. This is the response I got. If you communicate those threats like that again, you will not be welcome back here before surgery.
Oh God, powder keg match.
Can you? All right. Well, I said. So now that's it. We're all combo. We're in Italian mode now.
Yeah.
I said, you try it. You tried it. You don't have enough people back there to keep me away from my daughter before surgery. You do not have. You try. So, because I'm getting in. Jim, am I getting in that hospital?
Richie's getting in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because
any nook and cranny, you'll find it.
Yeah.
I might not fight Jim, but I'm going to become friends with Jim.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Italian charm.
I'll put on if it's a woman, Italian charm. If it's a small dude, I'm gonna find a way in there. Okay?
Air duct.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Jim?
Nothing. I was saying good job, man.
So it was okay, will do. And I just walked in, and luckily I got to see my daughter, and I kissed her. I said, sweetie, and I looked at her mom. Nothing would have kept me from here. And I kissed her, and I wouldn't look at her. And I'm going to tell everybody in here, the most powerful weapon you have. It's not anger. It's not threats. It's indifference.
Oh, yeah. Great rock. Yeah.
Ignore them. I don't look at her. You ignore. I'm like, because I'm not going to let you get. They attack you to get you riled up. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let you get me angry. We're done. In my mind, at that moment. So I got a threat. Fast forward, we had an agreement that she could take her for the week to recover, as long as I get to talk to her when I want, visit her when I want, and
reasonable.
Something you call me, I will bring it to her.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said we'll be there Wednesday. After work around 5:30. She goes, your sister's coming over. That time doesn't work for me. I go, I do not care if it works for you. I'm coming over at 5:30. I'm not asking you. I'm coming over. See, and now what most guys will do, with my experience and hearing stories, is okay, or blah, blah, blah. So this is what she said. She goes, if you come over, I'm calling the cops. I go, call the cops.
Oh my
call them. I'm going to call the cops if you don't let me in. This is what I mean about going to war. Call their bluff. Because what most guys, I don't want to go to jail, or I don't want to cause stress for my kids. I want my daughter to see me get handcuffed. I will cause World War III to get 10 minutes in with my daughter. Guys, you need to let them know you're willing to go to war, because that's why they do this. This is why they do this, is because there's no consequence.
And do you see what's really happening here, folks? What's really truly happening here is you've got one parent on the female side that knows what the man wants on his side. He is fighting and struggling and crawling and scratching to see his daughter. Right. And because he wants to do that, now the ex uses that very thing as fuel and leverage to push back on Richie. All he wants to do is see his daughter, but she will manipulate the situation. She will say things. She will keep him from him, or accuse him of things, because she knows deep down inside that that his heart is filled with his daughter's love. Why do women always use the kids as leverage against their ex?
Why is it? You answered it. You already answered it.
Give me 1 second, guys. Keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, you've already answered the question because they know that that's the one thing that you love, and they want, for some reason, they want to destroy you, and they go, "Oh, that's what I can use to do it."
If men use that same tactic, we would be called all kinds of names. But women are never held accountable for what they do to us.
Yeah,
they will put us through the ringer. The courts will side with them. Well, we'll have to spend $50,000 for us to finally see our kids. And the reality is that honestly, it should always default as 50-50 custody because that child is half ours. It's not the woman's child. It's 50-50.
Right.
So it's just heartbreaking that I hear so many stories like this. Everything that Richie's willing to do when he says, I'm willing to go to war, I'm willing to go to jail. What is he really saying? I'm willing to go to war and go to jail to see my daughter.
Right.
This has nothing to do with the ex. This has nothing to do with him trying to get his ex back or whatever. Richie and his ex's relationship should be completely out of this, and they should be managing the daughter. Right. But it's just amazing how we always have to do all this damn tap dancing.
Here's the beauty of social media. I said, all I'm going to do is show them your text and our parental plan. And let's light this candle. Let's light this candle. Let's go. Come on. That's the Italian side. I'm willing. Let's go. I'm going to show them your text. And then here's another thing. I just found this out. My daughter just had surgery. Gentlemen, you could call the cops and do a health and wellness check. My daughter's mother's not responding. So you lose what you can use. You call the police on them because they do that because they think that is a weapon. So if you just turn it back, they don't know how to handle it. She started calling my sister, your brother's unhinged.
Wow.
My sister's like, why?
Calling your sister?
Yes. My sister's calling, what's going on? Now my sister's on my side. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
But he's like, why don't you just, this is what my sister says, why don't you just tell her it makes me feel uncomfortable? I said, no, because here's what you're trying to do. She's 5 years old. I do not try to reason with people who have shown to be unreasonable. So if you're going to call the cops, I'm going to call the cops. And you call the cops in the way you can call them. Now they know he's willing to call the cops on me, and watch how much more calm.
I've done it. Yeah.
Right. Now she's threatened. Now she's calling my family. I don't know what to do. He's unhinged. I'm not unhinged. I'm using your playbook, and now you're at defense, and I'm on offense.
Yeah, guys, it's chess, not checkers. I mean, got to have the long game. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to try to attack your money, you form an LLC. If you can't beat him that way, you seduce him again. You send your best friend to seduce him again. I don't care. Whatever it takes. Okay? I would be willing to send Jim to go in there. Go get her, Jim. Go get her. And he'll do it.
Take one for the team.
For me.
As many favors as I owe Rich, I would have no choice.
Yes. So where we're at now is I've decided that I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to be threatened with my own child. Yeah. So I talked this over with my sister because I don't want to speak in an emotional state.
Right.
I calm down. And now I'm not saying I wasn't calm. I am direct and I'm cold because when like I went to war with the gym I was working at. I go, that's it. I go, I gave 3 warnings. At level 3, I was like, we're going to go to war and I'm going to win. I'm just going to go in. Now it's business. Now I'm cold. It's military tactics. Right. Same thing. But I'm still a little emotional. So I talked it over with Jim. Yeah. And I told my sister, I go, no more. She's now, if you ever talk to an Italian, when you're done with them, they are done with you. That you don't exist to them anymore.
Right.
I tried for 5 years to try to be cordial, to try to do things for her, to try to be flexible.
I could have saved you time.
I don't want to see. I just told her right now, we're going to the letter of our parental plan. That's it. No more. Now that puts her in a bad position because sometimes she not get off until, say, she has to go to work at 7 and I got to take her. I go, you don't get that privilege anymore. Right. So you try to make their lives hard until they come to the table. Now there is no negotiation. I do not negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah.
And guys, You said what's funny to me, and I'm going to end it here. What's funny to me is, and Jim and I have had these, we debate, even though we know a lot, we agree a lot about women, we debate about certain things. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why it's hard for me to date is once I get a shit test, once they do something that I don't feel like, and they try to like, why are you doing that? Listen, do not talk to me that way. I nip it in the bud, right? So she's been dealing with this for 7 years. She knows what I'm capable of. She knows I'm going to and she still cannot get out of her nature and say, don't mess with him when he gets this way.
Right.
Okay. But I will not let people, you could only let people treat you the way you let them treat you.
No, agree. Yeah.
And I see too many men out there. Oh, she's making me do this. She's going after me for that. And it's like, no, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to just go in and attack. I'd rather be angry and attack than feel bad about the situation.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is spot on. Yeah. I mean, you need to treat it like a business transaction. You need to be, cold as ice. Yeah. It's a business arrangement at that point. And you have to, they call it gray rocking, but you have to gray rock the relationship. You don't want to see them again, or it's very 1-2 word answers. You just don't, and they're going to try to counter parent, play all the little games and stuff. And you have to, again, chess, not checkers.
Chess. So listen, I already have lawyers in my back pocket. Thank God for BNI. I have, so she says, we're going to go to court. I go, good. I already have lawyers for you. I have a plan.
Oh yeah.
That's what I tell my clients. It's like, with certain situations, you have to form a plan in case something happens.
Wait, you didn't get like healthy just over the last 30 years, just kind of waking up and you didn't do it that way?
No, but I see a lot of people doing that.
I thought you had a plan.
Timing. And sometimes me and God don't agree. Okay? I want that shit now.
Right. But you put together a plan to get your body in.
And you know what's funny about this whole thing, Dwayne? It's the things she put in the plan that's going to bite her now.
I know.
Because she wouldn't sign it. Oh, it doesn't fit my schedule. I want it to the letter, 2 days on, 1 day over. You have to pick her up by 9 o'clock. And I wanted to say, okay. Yeah. Well, what if you have to go to work at 7 now? Well,
oops.
Because of your control. Now she's saying I'm controlling.
Yeah.
I have anger issues.
I'm abusive.
And she goes, how much testing? Everything but her behavior.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But guys, I blame myself. You want to know why? Because the sex was really good. And
I was getting ready to say vagina, but yeah.
The sex was really good, but also she wasn't acting like this. She really was. Jim will tell you.
Wait.
She was on.
Are you saying she was? Yeah. Are you saying that she said everything that you wanted to hear, and she kept a little on the crazy?
I don't think she did that. I just think she does have daddy issues, and again, that's on me, Dwayne. I dated a girl with daddy issues, and this is the consequences of it.
But you could change her.
No, well, yeah. Yeah. Well, you say if I see the good in her, if I surround her with my friends and not me doing it, but if I put her in my environment, I can draw out the good that I see. I didn't think I can change her. I said if she comes into my environment, I'm going to elevate the good I see. But unfortunately, she refused to take accountability. She refused to go to therapy for her issues. And now it's manifesting this way. And it's poisoning her. This is not the same Sarah from when I met her.
Yeah. Women are refusing to take accountability?
What men do is we see the person we dated when we first dated instead of seeing them how they are. And we try to, we have this natural instinct to protect. And I don't want to, I say, that's it. That's it. It's time to fight. I don't care.
People saw the good in Anakin Skywalker, but he's turned to the dark side.
Yes. You know what, though? Yeah, he was justified. Now, Tim the kids, we're not going to talk about that. But he had
the whole Jedi Council slaughter. We're not going to talk about that. But other than that, he was a pretty good guy.
But I mean, we go out and we try to find the good in the women that we're with, and and get the good out of them, and then we don't realize until later that they're a little crazy, and none of you guys are picking up on what I'm doing, so I'll just stop doing it.
I think we know they're a little crazy. I think that's what attracts us to them.
What's that? I say that again.
I said I think we know they're a little crazy, but that's what attracts us to them.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. There is some truth to that.
And like I said, I believe in taking. I don't blame her. I blame myself. Okay.
Have you guys noticed that there is a like a correlation between how crazy they are and how good they are in bed?
Oh my!
That's the crazy hot scale.
I mean, am I alone on this? Because I tell you, some of the craziest women out there, you only are with her because the sex is good. Like, I don't know. Like
let me tell you something. We were together. She got me my favorite ticket, like a surprise ticket to my favorite concerts, comedians. I'd come home and there'd be like flower petals to the bathtub, and she'd be in there naked. Nice. So, and then I go, now I'm the biggest piece of POS in the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now she, so listen, their emotions change. So if their emotions change, the way they view you is going to change. You have to deal with it in that moment, but you got to be willing to go to war, and you got to listen to lawyers. There's lawyers on YouTube that you can listen to. You got to come up with a game plan. And you know what? It's not going to be immediate. Jim will tell you this has been 5 years in the making.
Right, it's a long game.
You have to play the long game, and it's going to hurt.
Folks, while we're take a quick little break, folks, don't forget to like and subscribe to the page. Support the page, support the Big Show page. Thank you to those who have already pushed a like button and the subscribe button. Jules, thank you as always. She's a avid listener of the show. Oh, yeah. Lauren, Mary, Elizabeth, Mozeki, Linda, Rims, thank you guys all for liking the page, and all the others who have liked the page as well. So, hit that subscribe button so that way you guys get notified when Dad Talk Today goes live. Also, besides the Big Show channel, Eric Carroll does a lot of great podcasts during the week, and you can always catch Dwayne on his show called Pissed Off Parent throughout the week as well. While I'm thinking about it too, we're going to be changing the time. Richie, I haven't told you this either. We're going to be changing the time of the Big Show podcast. The 9 a.m. show is just really, really challenging for some people to get on, and there's days that I have to work on Sundays and I'm rushing to get to work. So starting July 9th, which is a Sunday, we are going to change the time of the Big Show podcast to 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So not this week, not next week, but the week after, we will not be doing a 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern Big Show podcast, just because of logistics and things like that. We're going to be moving to 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, starting July 9th. I apologize for those who can't make it. Hopefully you guys can. Again, if you just push the subscribe button, then you guys will be notified when we go live. But I just want to let you guys know that. So Richie, I appreciate the story, man. I can tell that, you're heated up and you're passionate about it. Everyone listening here, I mean, there's some really good stuff in the, really good chatter in the comment section about, what people are going through and their comments about it as well, man. I mean, we can all kind of relate to it. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and say that I have a solution to the issues, because smarter people than me have tried and they also have failed. Sometimes dealing with your ex is something that just can't be reconciled. Sometimes it can. I know that for most of us listening, we don't give up easily, and we want to try every single facet before we happen to just say enough is enough. So what I decided to do is, Dwayne and I wanted to kind of share a few of our best tips and tactics on how to deal with a unruly ex, on how to deal with someone who is just a little bit of a headache. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the reality. I mean, all of us have at least one former partner in our lives. We've dated at least one person, everyone listening to this. And sometimes these relationship breakups are smooth, and sometimes the lines between ex and extremely bothersome may be blurred. It all depends, I mean, for a few unlucky ones, you're not just separated, but you were actually married and you had to divorce. And that's way worse than boyfriend and girlfriend breaking up. Going through a divorce is probably one of the most challenging things you'll ever experience in life. It crushes us all emotionally. And for most men, it is financially crushing as well.
Yeah.
But nothing compares to the trifecta. The trifecta is separation, tough enough. Divorce, you were married to the person, but you had kids. That's the trifecta. So I have been divorced, and it was extremely tough. I don't know if I'll ever be over that, but I know for sure it would have been way worse should me and my ex have had kids.
Yeah.
So I really do feel for all of you guys out there, and the gals too, who have went through a divorce, a separation with kids, because now you're forced to deal with your ex for years and sometimes for a lifetime. You can't just, fade away into the sunset and move on like some people who are just separating from a person who they are not married to. In some cases, it's absolute hell. I mean, let's just call for what it is. And if you recognize yourself in this scenario, even a little, you owe it to yourself and your kids to detach yourself from the fight. Even guys and gals, listen, even if you win a battle now and, like you have to understand, like, even if you win a battle every now and then, and everyone else in the picture is still going to lose. Like, it shouldn't be about you being right all the time. Sometimes you have to lose the battle in order to win the war.
Yeah.
You have to choose what is best for all parties involved, including your kids. Sometimes you're going to have to strategize, like Richie showed us how he strategized today. And you might have to lose a few battles to be able to gain leverage in the future. It's a sad thing, but at the end of the day, the goal has to be met. And the goal is peace amongst all three parties, your kids, yourself, and your ex. Parents who are caught in warfare with a former partner can't establish a solid, positive self-esteem and move on to healthier, happier relationships with someone new either. And I know a lot of you guys are going through that. Kids who are bystanders in their parents' fight, they often get symptomatic as children and pessimistic about relationships when they become adults. You all deserve better. Your kids deserve better. You deserve better. Look, Dwayne and I are not therapists, okay? We are just two guys with a ton of life knowledge and a microphone. Some of the tips that we're going to give you today, some of the tips that even Richie has given you today will be spot on, and some may not apply or even work at all. Every situation is completely different. I don't know each of your guys' situations, and some of you are way, way past the point of no return. I get it. But there's a few of you guys who are listening that are hopelessly caught up in a fight, and you both absolutely agree that you can't live together, but you also can't seem to separate. Your struggle to separate emotionally is hijacked by your need to feel in control, or at least to feel like you're not being controlled. The two of you and your ex, for some of you guys, you and your ex, even though you're divorced, you guys are still as married now as you ever were. Because, a legal document of divorce doesn't finalize anything as long as the former spouses are still glued together by hate and anger.
Yeah.
But for some others that are still struggling and still have an ex that has one or two good brain cells still up there in that noggin of theirs, let me give you guys some tips. And the tips I'm about to give you could actually work. But before I begin, let me give a word of caution, okay? The following advice is not an appropriate approach if you or your former spouse uses violence or the threat of violence to get his or her way. In that case, a professional really needs to be involved to keep everyone safe while the two of you negotiate a less contentious relationship. So even though I'm going to give some pretty good tips, if you guys are already threatening with violence or speaking of it, it's probably way past my tips that can help. I don't know your guys' situations. All I can say is that you're going to have to just take what I say and then apply it to the best of your abilities. You're going to have to manage that. So I put together a few things. The first thing I want to talk about, the first way that we can try to make some sort of appeasement with our ex is to really focus on the children's welfare. Your fights with the other
number
parent,
one.
Yeah. That's why I put it as number one.
Yeah.
Really try to focus on your children's welfare, because the fights that you are having with your other parent, it's hurting them. Get those kids out of the middle of it. Don't comment about the other parent. Don't send messages to their other parent through your kids. Don't confide in your kids about your problems, your finances, or especially your sex life. They are children. They are not arbitrators.
Yeah.
They're not messengers. They're not counselors. Keep your kids out of the mess that you and your ex has caused. Do not let them swim in the muddy waters. They should not be expected to take sides in an argument to shore up your self-esteem either. Don't use the kids as leverage. One of the most damaging things people can do is put their kids between themselves and their exes. This makes everyone uncomfortable and will make your relationship with your children and your current partner even more difficult. I think we can all agree. Some of you guys are guilty of it. Please stop. You should.
Stop today. Yeah, I mean, and if you're doing that, you want to know who's screwing your kids up? You are.
Right.
If you're playing those games and all that, you're the one that's going to have lifelong. There's already damage. I mean, once you break up, there's going to be an amount of damage there, mitigated as much as you can. Playing the games, the notes back and forth, I'm dating so and so, that all that nonsense. You've given them a lifelong, just noose around their neck in their relationships, mental health, you name it, and just quit it. Man up, woman up, whatever. Stop doing it.
The second thing I would have you guys do is do the best you can to seek balance. If you and your ex has kids together, you will be connected to this person for a very long time.
Yeah.
Putting the kids, both old and new, first will help you keep your priorities straight. So just try to find that balance. Number 3, don't threaten, name call, or belittle each other. Having a mature and respectful relationship with your ex is healthy for you, for them, and for the current relationship that you have with the next person. Mm-hmm. If you're not in a place where you can be emotionally stable around them, then your ex will then communicate via email or through a third party until you or them have calmed down.
Not your kids.
Not your kids. The kids cannot be third party. The kids have to be out of it.
Yeah.
Good point. Number 4, resolve to drop your end of the battle. Okay. If you already know from experience that angry words and threats and even friendly reminders will not change a thing because you've already tried that, then think of it this way. If you jiggle the handle of a locked door and you find that you can't open it, how many more times you're going to jiggle the handle before you give up? Yeah. What's my point? My point is you've tried that 1,000 times. It's not working. So try something else. You have to find another way. The same is true for your ex's point of view and behavior. Listen, that door won't open by continuing the same approach. You have to find another way. So maybe resolving to drop your end of the battle is the right way. Maybe therapy, maybe a therapist, maybe a mediator, but that can never be your kids. Take the kids out of it. Number 5, decide that it is more important to finally be divorced than to be right. Your determination to be seen as right or to win arguments has not gotten you anywhere but deeper and deeper into the struggle. Yeah. It does not really matter if your ex agrees with your opinions. If you think about it, does it really freaking matter what she thinks or what he thinks? I mean,
quit letting them have free real estate in your head. That's the thing. I mean, talking personally, and again, I had a contentious divorce like I'm sure everybody else did in breakup. Once I just said, you know what, done. And it all got better. I mean,
it does.
It got better.
Because let's be honest with some of us. Like, some of us, you have to be honest with yourselves. If you still care about the opinions of your ex, then they have way too much power.
Yep.
Number 6, identify, and this is one, guys, I know you're going through it. Number 6 is identify what your hot buttons are. the issues, the attitudes, or the words that trigger you, that trigger your anger. Why? Why am I saying that? Because your ex has learned all that he or she needs to know to poke one of them, and it derails you from talking about the problem that really needs to be solved. You guys are in a discussion, an argument, a mishap, whatever. Right. They know exactly what to say and what to do to just take you so far off center that you completely just derail the entire argument because they knew you were winning the argument. You had a point. You sounded logical, and now you're just way off. And they kind of
add in on that. Can I add in on that, please? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give you some tactics that I use. All right. This is how I say even keeled. I want to just expand on never, ever name, call, or do personal attacks, because then you've already in any argument because you've lost.
Yeah.
If you threaten, personal attack, accuse, you have lost the battle. You got to stay stoic and just stay on point. Now, what I say is the one winning move in every fight or argument is not to play. If they start to insult you or get elevated, this is what I do. If you're going to insult me or yell at me during this conversation, we can visit this at another time when you can talk like an adult.
Yeah.
If you're going to act like a child, I will treat you like one, or we can talk like adults, but I'm not going to be personally attacked in this conversation.
Yep.
Which ones are getting now, because they have a need to be right, and they'll this, but it keeps them on course. Like I will refuse to be personally attacked during a conversation. I will end the conversation and revisit it, or we can move on, but you cannot insult me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but if you insult them, here's what they're going to do. They're going to start fighting how you insulted them versus staying on topic.
Right.
Here's another one that some of you guys are doing, and this is number 7. Don't flaunt your new partner in front of them.
Yeah, that should be common sense, but yeah.
I know, man. It should.
We report all the time on custody exchange deletions, and it's usually because they bring their new partner. They're wanting to show off their new partner. That's the dumbest thing people can do, is bring their partner with them to a custody exchange or flaunt it in any way, shape, or form. Just don't do it. Move on with your life.
Guys, separate. I don't want to meet your man. I don't want you to meet my woman. Listen, guys, she's not. What I say you do is look at her as if you've never met her. Would you date her again? Then why do you care what she thinks?
Yeah.
All right. Has she gained weight, or is she disagreeable? Is she unpleasant? I don't care what those type of people think.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're dating, because guess what? They're not going to be better than me anyway. That's my fault anyway.
I mean, if you guys have found someone new or when
successful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you guys have found someone new, or whenever you do find someone new, keep them out of the business dealings with your ex. I mean, really, just keep them separate. These because these kinds of triangles can be painful for both the old and the new partner. It'll make your life just way more difficult than it really honestly needs to be because of the feelings of insecurity or anger or jealousy. So it's just best to just not flaunt the new partner.
I just want to make one more comment on that. What a lot of guys do, this is my estimation, is we know how guys are when we both have territory, like my former territory and his current territory, that we got to do a little bit of this.
That's right.
Now that guy is now protecting his territory, and honestly,
enlightening
territory. It's not yours anymore.
Right.
So if he starts elevating, you do the same thing. Hey, listen, dude. Hey, good luck. All right. Or if you're going to elevate, I'm just going to leave. You get your ego out of it, and you'll avoid these situations. See, that's his now. The only thing you got to really worry about is, as long as that person's not violent against your kids, or especially your daughters, then that's all you have to worry about. But after that, you don't come around here. All right, dude. Hey, cool.
I'm
going to come here, get my kid. All right. And I'm gonna go. You just leave. She's not yours anymore. You don't have to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
That I did. Your caveat, kind of going off what Richie said, though, is there is a caveat, because at some point they're going to introduce the new partner to the kid, and if you guys can be mature enough, it may make sense to have you meet. Like, if I think that from a truly healthy perspective, if she finds another guy and he's a stand-up dude, good guy, whatever, you guys meet, because you're like, I want to make sure he's going to be a good person because he's going to spend time around your daughter. I mean, at some point it will happen down the road.
I agree with that.
And it's one of those little I mean, obviously, you guys break up and the next week, she's shacking up with somebody else and wanting to introduce. That's a no-go. We're talking, hopefully you both are in that, hey, we're not going to introduce the kids for at least X period of time that hopefully you can agree on. But hopefully you're mature enough to, when you meet that other partner, you're doing it to say, okay, he seems like a good guy or she seems like a good girl. They're going to be good around my kid, as opposed to, most abuses to children happen with the stepfather. I mean, well, because the way our custody is set up today, usually women get majority custody. Most of the child issues that happen are at the hands of a step parent. And for anyone that doesn't, if you go to pissedoffparent.com, look under statistics or the books and articles, that information's all there. Actually, under women behaving badly.
You can only elevate if you let it. You can only elevate if you let. You can only elevate if you let.
As far as you have to be the adult. It's like I won't front anyone else out here, but I'm a card carrying member of the Pew Pew clubs, and one of the first things that you're taught is you have a pew pew with you. You need to de-escalate every situation. Either not get in it, or if someone calls up and calls your mom or whatever, great, she probably is, and leave.
Yeah.
That's what you're trained to do. That's what you do.
I made it a point to, when my ex she was engaged last year. I said, I don't want any man around my child until I meet him, and I will give you that same respect. If you don't do that, I won't. Now, notice I said, if you do not do that, because I know she's going to want to meet the next person. Okay,
right. Mm-hmm.
I will not. If you do that, I will not do that for you. If you do not do that for me. Okay, right. This is a quid quo pro.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I have not met him, I will not, and I'm willing to go to jail for not dropping off my child if there's a strange man in the room. If I have not met him, you can call the cops. That's fine.
Yep. Well,
but I'm not dropping her up until I meet the guy.
Yeah. And not to steal the thunder from the rest of the list here, but if you actually, and I keep plugging my page, but it's got all the information on it. If you go to pissedoffparent.com under preparing for divorce, there is a number of different lists with information, links, and all that fun stuff. It actually has kind of like 3 categories: things I wish I knew before I got divorced, regrets after signing a custody agreement, and then a settlement guide. And it's some of it's specific, some of it's general, but it should be things that you think about. That would be one thing that you would want to put in your divorce agreement or your custody agreement is they're not to have overnight partners, or they're not supposed to, until the relationship is, I mean, you can word it however you want to, but after 6 months of being with a new partner, then after the other parent meets them, they can be introduced. You can write that into your custody agreement.
Oh, I did not know that. That's very informative.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, you get right down to it. You can pretty much write almost anything you want to, within reason, obviously, into any custody agreement or SAPR agreement. But if you go to the website, check that out. If you're going through a divorce right now, or you're getting ready to, those are things to check out. I also tell people in the top part, there's a thing called the list. If you're going through a contentious or potential contentious divorce, I would highly recommend you read the list. It will get you ready for World War X. It's something else. But anyway,
there's a lot of really great information on pissedoffparent.com if you guys want to go over there and visit it. One of the things that I want you guys to remember, this is tip number 8, I think it is whenever you guys are in the battle, she takes you off center, he or she finds the hot buttons and pushes it. What I want you guys to remember, number 8, is to calmly and quietly get back to the problem that needs to be solved.
Yep.
You guys are going to get derailed.
Focus.
You have emotions there. You have history there. It's going to get off of the topic at hand. Just remember that you guys are no longer in a relationship. There's no need to solve any old problems that you guys had, because it's a moot point at this point. You have decided that she is no good, or you have decided that he is no good. He is, to Richie's earlier point, she is no longer yours.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter to, do conflict resolution at this point. Get back to the problem that needs to be solved. Remind your ex that the kids need the 2 of you to stay out of fights and stick to the agreements that you guys have had, that you put together. You know, it is therefore important to only make sure that you guys make the agreements that you two can stick to as well, because that will be a potential problem. If you guys are putting together agreements that one of the two of you can't stick to, well, then you know it's going to come up with a problem in the future. You know, offer options. Ask for and stay open to your ex's suggestions too. Make sure that the agreement is a genuine one. But if you're provoked, go back to finding and practicing ways to avoid reacting. So I know that is easier said than done. I know. And I would be lying if I said that sometimes I don't even follow my own advice because I'm in the thick of it. Look, I'm human. I'm a man. I have flaws as well. But
how many times did it work out for you when you didn't follow your own rules? How many times did that work out?
Yeah, I'm like 0 for 8 right now.
There you go.
Yeah. Number 9, a little distance is good sometimes. You know, make sure that you're setting up proper boundaries with your ex and that you're open with, you know, your new partner and how you want to deal with the previous relationship. You know, having everyone on the same page will prevent destructive events from occurring. It's not a bad idea to distance yourself. You know, you don't need to send emails or text messages or call. You guys are not together anymore. Put the distance between you and her, you and him. And whenever you guys do come together, remember that you're coming together for one purpose only, and that is the management of your kids' lives.
It's a business meeting.
Not the coddling, not the growth of your relationship with each other, the management of your kids' life. Number 10, and my final tip for the shitstorm that some of you guys have got yourselves into is give up the idea of absolute fairness being the result of every encounter.
Yeah.
I applaud most of you for wanting it to be fair, but just give it up, man. Give up the idea that every encounter you're going to have with your ex is going to end in a mutual fairness, because you already know that it is not. Sometimes it's better to let the ex win, not in all issues, and certainly not in the issues that are worth fighting about. Yeah. And not in all issues, and not in the issues that are certainly worth fighting about, like some of the issues that Richie had mentioned today. But sometimes it is better to trade. You know, I'll give on this. Can you give on that? Try that approach. Listen, I see what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree with it, but look, I will give on this. In return, would you mind giving on that? Okay, so if it starts to feel too out of balance, then deal with that issue directly instead of indirectly through another fight about something else. Like don't do the whole, you start to like get mad and stuff because it's not about the spilled milk of today. It's about the issue from 4 months ago and you're just still bitter and butt sore about it. You know, stick with the issue at hand. So
can I add a 0.5 to that?
10.5? Go ahead.
When that doesn't work, and it won't sometimes, I say you have to go do what do they call it? Not interrogation.
Aggressive.
Aggressive negotiation.
Aggressive negotiations. What I say is, in any negotiation, what do? You ask high, knowing I'm going to get this. What we try to do is we try to go 50-50. I think sometimes, guys, with all due respect, Jim, sometimes we're too fair. Sometimes you got to ask for more. Like, okay, for instance, if you go for court, just to let you know, I'm going to go for child support or I'm going to go for 60% custody. She has to know that you're willing to go to those measures, because then she'll like, okay, then we'll go 50-50. Here's my little one, by the way.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi there.
You're on the internet.
Welcome to the World Wide Web.
Real quick, I'm almost up.
So, you know, basically in closing, everyone, you know, I just want to make sure that you guys, bye-bye. I just want to make sure that you guys have tried all these tactics, you know, and you're still, you know, trying to bring peace and harmony and balance to your guys' relationship. If you and your ex just can't seem to disengage from mutual animosity, then it's really probably time to get some help. I mean, look, a podcast with Richie and Dwayne and Jimmy on it is not going to solve all your problems. You're not going to be able to sometimes fix all the problems in life from a free podcast on Facebook or YouTube. You might have to invest in some professional help, and there's nothing wrong with that. A mediator. Just make sure the mediator is not your kids.
Yeah. Can I add a couple of things that helped me? I've been my clients. I can only. I've been through both. All right, now my clients ask me like, "Oh, where's your ex-wife?" Right? Because they think my ex-wife is my. I was like, "No, my ex-wife is in Miami. My baby mama's in DeLand. I'm a walking Jerry Springer episode." All right. So I've been through both. I've been through divorce, and so you listen. You got to call a spade a spade. That's something I'm doing wrong, but that's another topic. What helped me was this. I tried to understand them and put myself in their shoes. Why are they acting this way? What did I do to participate? But the most powerful thing I did was forgive them.
Oh, yeah.
Harbor no hate for either my ex-wife. Actually, we made up a couple times last year, me and my ex-wife, but that's another story. My daughter's mother, even though right now I'm a little hot toward, I have no anger toward her.
Yeah.
When you hold on to anger, that's poison for your soul. If you have no idea the power of just, you're a hurt person and I forgive you because you don't know what you're doing, because you hurt people, and I forgive you for it. But I'm not going to allow you to treat me this way. Right. I just forgive them. Good.
Oh yeah.
Cool. I'm going to get going, guys. She wants daddy's attention. Bought her a new bed. So
I appreciate you coming on, Rich.
Big Jimmy.
Bye.
Bye. Right.
Love you, Daddy, for an ice cream.
And remember, go to coachrichmass@gmail.com if you have any fitness questions, okay?
All right. See you, Rich. Talk to you soon.
All right. Jimmy, she says, I'll see you when you feel better.
Oh, thank you. I'll see you soon.
All right.
Love you.
Aww, I'm going to cry. Oh, the big show.
I put it in the comment section that she loves her Uncle Big Show. But like I was saying, folks, an experienced therapist can keep you both safe while you work out what you guys are going through. Once the core issues are identified, the two of you might be able to actually deal with them a little more effectively and less emotional, and have a less emotional cost to everyone involved. A therapist can help you guys find ways to cooperate when you guys really need to. So consider it. I mean, again, that's for you guys to manage. Former partners don't have to be friends. They don't even have to be friendly to get on with their own lives and protect their children. You guys don't have to be friends. It doesn't mean that you have to, but you do have to manage the lifestyle that you two chose. You do have to find a way to make solving problems more important than winning the fight. And when you do, you can finally truly, for once and for all, actually be divorced despite what the paperwork says. So that's my advice. I really hope that it helps some of you guys. I think a lot of you guys probably know that it's probably sound advice, but for some of you, unfortunately, it might be too little too late. Again, Dwayne and I will be the first ones to be honest and say, hey, depending on where you're at in this journey, this stuff you guys might already done some of this stuff, but for the stuff that you haven't done, give it a shot. But just remember that you're doing it for the well-being and the health of your children, not just for today, but for the men and women that your children will grow up to become in the future.
Yep.
Okay, guys, we joke and we pick and we poke and we tease each other all the time about how some of our crazy exes have daddy issues, have mommy issues, have, they're a little bit crazy. I don't know. I mean, is some of the issues that we poke and tease about issues that dad and mom caused her back when they were going through a divorce that, she wasn't able to emotionally handle? We all know that women don't handle stress as much or as good as men handle stress. So, especially if you have girls, you want to make sure that you're separating this stuff from them. They don't need to see or hear or especially be involved with some of the nightmares that you and your ex are going through. So, Dwayne, you have anything before we close out the show?
Yeah, I mean, kind of replugging the website with pissedoffparent.com under the preparing for divorce. I mean, there's a lot of good information on there that if you're really, no matter where you're at, I mean, well, after the divorce is over. But one thing, that we talk about is it's also time for you to do some inner reflection and go, what did you do to add to it? I mean, it's usually never 100% someone else's fault. You put, you did your part of it. Like, I guess a low-hanging fruit one, just for lack of time here, is, if you're a staunch conservative, don't marry a liberal, because your values are going to be different. Regardless of which side of the fence you're on, your values are going to be different. You probably shouldn't, have a child with that person or even date them. I mean, you're not going to work it out. I mean, every once in a while, the unicorn happens, but 10 times out of 10, it doesn't. Spend time getting to know your partner. And you're not always going to, people change, people grow. And really, honestly, you're probably not the same person you were. I mean, the core is probably the same when you were a kid, but you've probably grown as a person over the last, 30, 40 some odd years of your life. And, when you for younger people, when you tie yourself to someone else, you're, kind of an empty cup and you're supposed to grow together. Sometimes you don't, you grow apart, and, you need to, but for a lot of it, just get to know your partner before doing anything like having unprotected sex to have a child. And don't have a child to save your marriage. God, don't.
Please don't do that.
God, I know it's there, but don't do it.
And ladies, don't get pregnant on purpose just to trap him. Guys, certainly don't try to get her pregnant just to trap her. It never works out. You guys are going to go through a life of misery. Anyways, guys, appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show before you guys click off today. Hope you guys all have a great Sunday. Next week, Dwayne and I will be here, same bat time, same bat channel, which is Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, 9 a.m. Central. 8 a.m. Central.
Nope, 9 a.m. Central.
10 Eastern.
10 Eastern. Yep. And
I tell you, this hour change that I've done is really kind of screwing me. I've grown up my entire life with Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. Now I got to figure out the Central. So we're going to be on the same time and same channel next week. It's not until July 9th, Sunday, July 9th, that we're going to change to 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So we'll see you guys here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hope you guys have a great week. On behalf of Dwayne and I, thanks for tuning into the big show. Have a great week. We'll see you guys soon.